Episode 412 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic will be recapping tonight's huge AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view live. Championships were on the line. A surprise return challenger who walked out of the Pillars 4-Way as the AEW World Champion, and which team survived anarchy in the arena. That's all right here, right now. 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hello and welcome, Wrestling Fanatics, to this special live episode. Finally, we are live at 2:02 a.m. Eastern Time, right here in Taylor, Michigan. And actually, the AEW Double or Nothing media scrum with Tony Khan is still going on. I think he's about to wrap up, or at least I think he is about to anyway. It's been on for about 2 hours now. It was supposed to start at midnight on AEW's YouTube channel, but started close to 12:15, I think. So just about close to 2 hours it's been going on. And I was going to wait to the very end, but like I said, it is already a little after 2 a.m. right now. So I just thought that I'd start off right now while the media scrum is still going on. But like I said, sorry about that, still watching Tony Khan in the background. But like I said, gonna go live right now with 360 Wrestling Fanatic, episode 412, recap everything that took place at AEW Double or Nothing. It was a wild, action-packed night. And just another quick programming note. I have not seen the show yet, but sometime either tonight or tomorrow morning, I might just read the results. And on tomorrow morning's episode of GMWF, I might go over NXT Battleground, talk about what happened. And obviously I did not see that yet. Tonight I was watching AEW Double or Nothing. So let's get into it. And things get kicked off tonight with the buy-in. And it is a trios match. The Hardys, Matt and Jeff Hardy, teaming up with Hook to defeat All Ego, Ethan Page, and the Guns, Austin and Colton Gunn. Pretty good match here, and this was the only match on the buy-in tonight, which was the return of the buy-in. The last few AEW pay-per-views recently, the pre-show was 0 hour, but I kind of like buy-in better, but that's just me. Anyways, due to the stipulation of this match, the Hardys gained control of the contract of All Ego Ethan Page, and we move on to the main card, AEW Double or Nothing, live from Las Vegas Arena, the T-Mobile Arena. Our commentators tonight, Excalibur, Taz, and starting off tonight, which will change in a little bit, good old JR, Jim Ross. And we start things off Double or Nothing tonight pretty big. The 21-man Blackjack Battle Royal for the AEW International Championship, being defended by freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy and the superstars participating in this match for the AEW International Championship. We have Keith Lee, we have Swerve Strickland, the Lucha Brothers, Best Friends, Bandito, and many others in this match. And the final four are Penta, Big Bill, Swerve Strickland, and the champion Orange Cassidy. At this time, Penta is eliminated by Big Bill, and Big Bill is eliminated by Orange Cassidy. And just before I get to the final two, earlier in the night, there was a spot where Orange Cassidy was on the ring apron, about to be eliminated by Big Bill with a big boot, but Trent Beretta pushing Orange Cassidy out of the way, taking the bullet for him, and that's when he is eliminated. And now on to the final two, Orange Cassidy and Swerve Strickland. We have a very exciting final minutes of this match. There were times where it looked like Swerve Strickland was very close to becoming the new international champion, but it is freshly squeezed who is able to eliminate Swerve Strickland from the ring, both feet hitting the floor, and still AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy. I wasn't quite sure really what the rules were going to be of this Blackjack Battle Royal heading into Double or Nothing, but it was just a regular every man for himself over the top rope battle royal. That being said, it was pretty good, I thought. Actually, a lot of exciting action, a lot of talented guys in this one, so I enjoyed it. 22 minutes 29 seconds was the time for it. Good way to start off Double or Nothing this year, or at least in my opinion anyway. And next up we have one of the featured matches heading into it, the Ocho, Chris Jericho taking on Adam Cole, baby. And we started things off with Roderick Strong getting into it with the JAS, and Sabu throws the steel chair at members of the JAS again, and they all fight to the back. And then we see Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, make her way out to the ring with a kendo stick and take some shots at Chris Jericho for the revenge on the attack of her and Adam Cole, where Adam Cole was handcuffed to the ropes and Saraya beat Britt with the kendo stick, and then we see Saraya come out to the ring, and then Dr. Britt Baker starts using the kendo stick on her, chases her to the back, and Adam Cole is beating Chris Jericho. We see Jericho get a cut just over his eye, real close to his eye actually, and then at this time, referee Aubrey Edwards stops the match. So due to referee stoppage, the winner is Adam Cole at 19 minutes 2 seconds. Again, I thought this was a very good match. I'm sure the feud is not over, which, of course, to skip ahead a little later on, the pay-per-view, we see Renee Paquette in the back with Chris Jericho and Saraya, and they challenge Adam Cole and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, to a mixed tag team match this Wednesday night on Dynamite on TBS. And to skip ahead a little bit more, in the media scrum, or not the media scrum, it was actually on the pay-per-view it was announced. Yeah, I take that back. It was on the pay-per-view. They announced it. The mixed tag team match has been made official. Chris Jericho teaming with Saraya to take on Adam Cole and Dr. Britt Baker. Looking forward to that this Wednesday night on Dynamite. And now the AEW World Tag Team Championships are on the line. FTR against Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal with special referee Mark Briscoe. This one, I thought, a very good match. Mark Briscoe calls it right down the middle. Was definitely fair, and there's one point Jeff Jarrett goes to use the guitar, but misses and hits Mark Briscoe. Briscoe is down just when he got done, I should say, ejecting Sanjay Dutt and Sanam Singh from ringside. So Briscoe is down. FTR has the match won, or at least it looks like they do. Since Mark Briscoe is down, we see referee Aubrey Edwards come down, but just before she can get to the ring, Sanjay Dutt gets in her ring, or gets in her way, I should say, and steps right in front of her when she tries to get to the ring, and finally she pushes Sanjay Dutt out of the way, but then Karen Jarrett is right there and hits Aubrey Edwards in the head with the guitar. Poor Aubrey taking a guitar shot tonight. But Mark Briscoe is back up to his feet. Jeff Jarrett has a cover, but it is only a 2 count. Jeff Jarrett is furious with Mark Briscoe at this time, yelling at him, "I told you to count," and he pushes Mark Briscoe, but Briscoe pushes him back, and FTR is able to hit the Shatter Machine, pin Jeff Jarrett, and win the match, and still AEW World Tag Team Champions FTR at 19 minutes 44 seconds. And at this time, we see Alex Marvez in the back with Absolute Ricky Starks, where he talks about, I didn't mention this, but in the Blackjack Battle Royal. He eliminated Black Bullet Club Gold. And at this time, we see Juice Robinson and Jay White attack Alex Marvez, or Ricky Starks. Sorry about that. They attack Ricky Starks. And then we see FTR, who just retained their AEW World Tag Team Championships, make the save for Ricky in the back. And next up at Double or Nothing, the AEW TNT Championship is on the line in a ladder match. Christian Cage taking on Wardlow. And first we see Christian Cage arrive with Luchasaurus, and then Wardlow. Arn Anderson comes out with him on the stage, then goes in the back. But then we do see the Enforcer again, and at one point Luchasaurus gets involved, choke slams Wardlow twice, and then Arn Anderson gets in the ring, and for a second I thought he was actually gonna try to give the big man Luchasaurus a spine buster, the spine on the pine, but instead Luchasaurus about to chokeslam Arn Anderson, and then Arn bites the thumb of Luchasaurus, and there's a lot of blood. The thumb of Luchasaurus all bloody, blood on all over the mouth of Arn Anderson, and Tony Schiavone, who is out for the next match, on commentary says Arn Anderson was walking around backstage like a zombie. And back to the match, Wardlow hits a swanton and gets into it actually with Luchasaurus in the back, puts him on two tables, gets on top of the ladder, does another swanton on Luchasaurus through the tables, and back in the ring, Christian Cage climbing the ladder. Looks like he is about to gain access of the TNT Championship, but then Arn Anderson in the ring as well pushes the ladder, swings Christian Cage over, and Wardlow grabs him and hits him with a powerbomb and is able to climb the ladder and regain possession of the AEW TNT Championship. So still TNT Champion Wardlow. Good ladder match, I thought. Crazy spot with Arn Anderson and Luchasaurus there. The swanton off the ladder through the tables by Wardlow was also pretty crazy, and really good match here. Good to see Wardlow retain. I think he's going to have a pretty good run with the TNT Championship. 17 minutes, 8 seconds was the time for that. Once again, pretty good ladder match here. And then at this time, we see Tony Schiavone join Excalibur and Taz on commentary. And just real quick here, quick update. Tony Khan just finished up the AEW media scrum on AEW's YouTube channel. Hopefully you're maybe multitasking and watching the media scrum as we heard from Tony Khan, and also listening to this live episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic right now. And at this time, let's get back into the Double or Nothing recap. And the AEW Women's Championship is now on the line. Toni Storm taking on the champion Jamie Hayter. First making her entrance to the ring is the challenger Toni Storm. And it is now time for the entrance of the AEW Women's Champion, Jamie Hayter. We hear her music playing, but she does not come out. The music stops. The commentators question where Jamie Hayter is, and then the music starts again. And then we see Jamie Hayter come tumbling down from the entrance, and she was attacked by the Outcasts right off the bat, and they go after that injured shoulder. Hayter does eventually get in the ring, and the match begins. Short match here. Of course, Toni Storm goes after that injury. Jamie Hayter was just attacked, so this one only 3 minutes 5 seconds. Toni Storm getting the win to defeating Jamie Hayter, and new AEW Women's Champion for the second time, Toni Storm, which giving more power to the Outcasts now. And next up, the AEW Trios Championships are on the line. The House of Black, Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King open challenge tonight. And I am happy to say that I was correct who I thought I was going to be with my prediction this morning on GMWF. It was the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. As usual, Max Caster starts off with one of his raps, and when he went to talk about Buddy Matthews, we even get a mention of WWE superstar Dominic Mysterio. Of course, if anybody doesn't know, for some reason, Buddy Matthews is involved with the WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Rhea Ripley. And we start off this trios match, which was a very good one. And for some reason, here in my notes, I forgot to put the time of the match, so I apologize about that. But the finish of the match sees Malachi Black pin Billy Gunn for the win, and the House of Black still AEW Trios champions. Definitely wouldn't be surprised if the three of them have those titles for quite a while. And next, the AEW TBS Championship and the undefeated streak of champion Jade Cargill is on the line, taking on Taya Valkyrie. And this one I thought was actually a pretty good match, and not real long. At one point though, Taya Valkyrie does hit the Road to Valhalla, but Jade kicks out and hits Taya with Jaded and gets the win. 8 minutes 45 seconds. And also, Jade Cargill is now 60-0 in AEW. And then after the match, Smart Mark Sterling gets on the microphone and brags about Jade Cargill being 60-0. He says no one is left. And as you can tell in pro wrestling, when somebody usually gets on the mic post-match like that, says no one is left, says they have no challengers left, usually a new challenger comes out. And tonight was no different. We see the return to AEW of the alien Chris Statlander. And I thought when we saw Statlander return that she might come down to the ring, challenge Jade Cargill to a future title match, possibly even soon as this Wednesday on Dynamite. But no, sir, we get that TBS Championship match right here tonight at Double or Nothing, and Chris Statlander defeats Jade Cargill 43 seconds to become the new AEW TBS champion and the only second TBS champion in AEW history. Also, she became the 1 in 60-1, defeating Jade Cargill, ending that undefeated streak. Really good match here. And next up, which this is a match that I have to admit I expected to close the show. It did not, but I'm not complaining because the show still went great. But this is the one I thought maybe should have headlined it, but maybe that's just me. The AEW World Championship match, the Pillars 4-Way match. Jungle Boy Jack Perry, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and the AEW World Champion MJF Maxwell Jacob Friedman. And in this one, we see Jungle Boy make his usual entrance, and then for Sammy Guevara's entrance, we see him being accompanied by his wife, Ty Mello, and he brings back the cards like he did back during the COVID time when AEW was at Daly's place all the time. And he says they have news, and on the card it says they are having a baby. So congratulations to Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello. And then we get a video at a wedding chapel place with Elvis, or maybe it was an Elvis impersonator, who knows. But it's a wedding, and someone with an MJF mask, and then Darby takes him down, and him and Elvis take the body, drive off, and then we get the entrance of Darby Allin with a great, I guess you could say, combination of an Elvis jumpsuit and Darby Allin's look as well. Looks awesome tonight. And the entrance of the AEW World Champion, MJF. Now let's get into the match. It was a great world title match. All four putting it on the line out there. Had some really good spots in this one. And it did look like there were times where the three could have won the world title, but in the end, it is MJF retaining, still AEW World Champion. And at one point, even in the match, MJF gets on the microphone, brings up the fact that Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello are having a baby, says that he needs the money, so he asks him once again to lay down and let him pin him to win the match. And Sammy gets the mic and says he'll do it. He says he'll lay down, and he does lay down in the middle of the ring. But then when MJF is just about to pin him and go for the cover, Sammy Guevara rolls him up, but only for a 2 count. And then in the finish, we see MJF steal the victory, pinning Darby Allin, 27 minutes, 47 seconds. Really good match here. And I expected to see MJF retain the title, especially heading into next year, the bidding war of 2024. Don't be surprised if we see MJF hold on to that title until then. I mean, you never know, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does hold on to it till next year. And next up, the main event of Double or Nothing. But first, before I get into that, I did forget to mention one thing. Jade Cargill did have an entrance with a singer. I don't remember what her name was. Might be someone who all these young kids listen to these days. She sang some song about pretty girls and walking. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I know it was about pretty girls and walking. And Jade Cargill did a dance with her sorority sisters, they said. And now time for the main event of Double or Nothing, Anarchy in the arena. We get the entrance from the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, Nick Jackson and Matt Jackson. They come out to Carry On My Wayward Son. And then it's time for the Blackpool Combat Club. And there's a live band, Violet Idols, I believe they were called. They sing Wild Thing. The lead singer has a mask on. I've never heard of this band. I don't know if they're like real popular or not. I'm not sure, but never heard of them. And they sing Wild Thing. Blackpool Combat Club enter from the crowd. And it kind of started like the last Anarchy in the Arena match, where at the time, of course, the BCC were the baby faces, and the match started off strong with a lot of brawling and fighting everywhere, and Wild Thing was still playing over the speakers, but this time with the live band there, they kept on playing for about the first minutes of the match as they brawled all over the arena at the T-Mobile Arena. And eventually the Young Bucks made their way up to the stage. The lead singer of the band opened up his jacket, had a Blackpool Combat Club t-shirt on, and super kick party. The Young Bucks super kicked the lead singer of the band, knocked him out, and no more music the rest of the match. Like I said, this one was wild. Claudio Castagnoli and I think it was Nick Jackson brawled outside on the Concords. Claudio did the giant swing on the Concords. They went outside. Pile driver on the back of a pickup truck to Nick Jackson. I believe it was a bloody match. And Jon Moxley, of course, busted open in this one. Don Callis is also at ringside on commentary for this one as well. And we see someone run into the ring and start helping the Blackpool Combat Club. And it was none other than Konosuke Takeshita. If you remember recent months, Don Callis has been trying to recruit Takeshita. And tonight, I guess it worked. And it looks like Don Callis and Takeshita are involved with the BCC. We'll have to wait and see for sure, though, this Wednesday at Dynamite to find out. And the finish of this match sees Wheeler Yuta pin Kenny Omega at 27 minutes. So the Blackpool Combat Club once again victorious in Anarchy in the Arena. Who knows, possibly this summer, just like maybe they had it last year, which was June 29th here in Detroit, which I was there live, and possibly could have a blood and guts match. possibly with these two teams, or maybe if they have another blood and guts match with other two teams. And that was tonight's AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view. I thought it was a fantastic show with great wrestling on it, and definitely a thumbs up show in my opinion. And then after Double or Nothing, as I mentioned, I went over to the AEW YouTube channel. The media scrum's supposed to start at 12, and then first we see the usual AEW screen that says the media scrum will start soon, and then we get the live feed, and first we just see the table set up, and it takes a little bit for Tony Khan to come on and start it. And like I said, maybe close to 12:15, I think it might have been. And he did eventually start, finally. And the first guest on the media scrum is the AEW World Champion, MJF. Of course, as usual, when he talks at these things, a lot of foul language. And he was asked about maybe if he was upset about his match not going last, and the anarchy in the arena going on after his world title match. And he just said he doesn't care. He didn't want to go in there and have to roll around Jon Moxley's blood, and says he doesn't care who he has to face next. And he talks about maybe what he said on Dynamite about taking his ball and going home. He said that doesn't mean he's necessarily going to WWE. He just might retire. And he even mentioned Nick Khan wanting him to work for his company. And so definitely interesting comments from the AEW World Champion, MJF. But I definitely recommend to check out the media scrum. I'm sure you can still watch it tomorrow on AEW's YouTube channel. And next up is the new AEW TBS champion, Chris Statlander. She does a pretty good speech here. Well, not a speech, but she makes some good comments. And then the AEW International Champion, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, which keeps it short and sweet as usual, you would expect. And then next up, the new AEW Women's Champion, Toni Storm. And finally, from the Blackpool Combat Club, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. And then after all the guests speak, we hear from Tony Khan. And when it's time for the questions, he is asked about Collision, of course, and asked about All in London, where, or how I should say, it will be broadcasted. And he said he cannot get into that right now, whether it'll be pay-per-view or some kind of streaming thing. He says that still has to be worked out, and timing, he mentioned. So, but he did say that it will be announced soon, where, or how I should say, All in London will be broadcasted around the world. And he's asked about the Fight Forever video game, which is coming out next month. And also, he is asked about the Owen Hart Cup tournament that was announced tonight at Double or Nothing, which will be starting in Canada and ending in the hometown of Owen Hart, Calgary, Alberta, at the Calgary Stampede, which Tony Khan was wearing a cowboy hat, and Jim Ross, he's already set. And of course, Tony Khan was asked about the debut episode of Collision, June 17th, in Chicago at the United Center. The question I expected to be asked, will CM Punk be there? And of course, what I also expected, it was not answered. And I'm not surprised that somebody asked it, but I knew Tony Khan wouldn't answer it. He just said he cannot answer that right now, which, like I said, I definitely didn't expect him to answer it, even if it is a done deal that CM Punk is coming back. I knew he wasn't going to say it now. Not just yet anyway. I don't think he would announce it on the media scrum. Excuse me, getting a little tired now. Now it's 2:42 a.m. and that was the media scrum for AEW Double or Nothing. Those were the main highlights of Tony Khan's comments, but I still recommend that you can check it out tomorrow on AEW's YouTube channel. Once again, tonight's AEW Double or Nothing, great pay-per-view in my opinion, and I definitely recommend checking it out if you missed it for some reason. Either order the replay on Bleacher Report or traditional pay-per-view on your cable or satellite provider internationally. Fight TV, YouTube, ppv.com, The Zone. Also, I'm sure the replays will be available on all of them. And definitely worth checking out in case you missed it for some reason tonight. Once again, tomorrow morning, the Monday morning episode of 360 Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Hope to have maybe not a full recap. Well, not a full recap because shorter show, but I might go over the results of NXT Battleground, which also took place tonight. And like I said, and I didn't mean any disrespect to NXT when I said this, but it was definitely the least talked about show, or at least what I heard anyway, of this weekend. I would say the first two, of course, were AEW Double or Nothing, WWE Night of Champions from yesterday, and the third was last Friday's Impact Wrestling Under Siege, and then I'd say NXT Battleground, or at least in my opinion, and what I've noticed from other people online too, that was probably the least talked about. And unfortunately for NXT, it was on a big pro wrestling weekend with a lot bigger shows on it. And that's it for tonight's episode. I hope to have more new episodes of 360 Wrestling Fanatic available right here on Spreaker or wherever you listen to podcasts. Once again, that special live episode, like I said, after live pay-per-views or premium live events, special events, whichever you want to call them, whichever they are, hope to have live episodes on. And the only bad thing about the AEW ones is they do tend to go late, especially tonight with that long media scrum. Also, getting close to 3 a.m. It's about 2:45 now. And been a long day, a long night. We got Memorial Day tomorrow. So I'm going to wrap up and maybe get a little bit of sleep before I have to wake up, walk to work, do Good Morning Wrestling Fans, and work on Memorial Day. But hope everyone stays tuned to the 360 Wrestling Podcast. Hope everyone enjoyed Double or Nothing as much as I did. And I'll talk to you all tomorrow. But until then, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.